now. So when we even make a simple statement, like something is good or something is bad, something is right or something is wrong, he did right, she did wrong, this is the way this should have been, this is not the way this should have been, I should do this, I should not do that. These are the claims we make, isn't it? All of these are the claims we make. Now, what is left unsaid in those claims is that we are saying, I should do this is true. You see, she should not do that is true. I should not have done that is true. I should have done something is true. So that is true is attached to all these claims that we make, all these notions that we believe. You see? Now, that is why I'm telling you that that determination, that claim that this is true, you see, is not to be found in the phenomenal realm at all. There is nothing that you can make a claim about in that way. At best, what we can say is that the way something is appearing to me and how I'm interpreting it in my head seems to be this way. You see, that is the maximum that we can go in this world. Are you with me? The maximum that we can go in this world is to say that this is the way this phone is appearing to me. You see, it appears red, it appears to have some silver, you see, and that is how it is appearing to me. And my interpretation of this in my head is this, you see. But we can never say this is good absolutely, or this is how it is absolutely or truthfully. You see? Now, suffering means that I have made a claim like that somewhere, you see, that I should not have done that is true. You see? Or my family behaves this way with me is true. You see? That I have to decide something to exist peacefully. Any of these statements, you see, are just statements of a limited interpretation, but they are never really true. You see? And if you can see that, then the root of suffering is cut off from its very core. You see, the root of suffering is cut off from its very base. Because at the root of suffering, you will always find a claim which is claiming truthfulness, but is actually very, very relative. It is very, very conditional. You see, it's very, very flimsy.
Even that one statement should not happen, correct, Guruji?
But not even this statement that that statement should not happen.
So how?
You see, and that is where you reach the limit of your intellect, isn't it? Because the intellect needs some final conclusion saying, this is it. But even that claim, you see, that this should be how it is or this should not be how it is only provisional. No? You see? Because what is it actually representing? Now let's take the example of two people fighting. You see, is it possible for two people fighting to happen unless in this play of consciousness, both expressions are holding on to an idea of what they think is true, and the other one is holding on to another idea of what they think is true. You see? And the fight and the suffering only happens when we want to impose our version of what we think is true onto another version which another may carry. You see?
In that situation, what should we do then?
Okay, so that's what I'm coming.
How we converse with the husband,
Yeah.
like how?
Yeah.
That's the only choice for me, Guruji. So I have to say, because more not that way,
Of course.
but we have to say no.
Yeah. So I'm just coming to that good news, you see. I'm coming to the good news that as you are empty of these claims of truths inside yourself, the way life is supposed to function still continues to function. You see, and in the functioning of life, you see, what words have to be spoken, what deeds have to happen through these hands and feet, they will continue to happen. You see, so the masters are empty of conclusions about true and false, about taking things too seriously, conceptual things too seriously, and yet the sharing of satsang can happen through that expression, isn't it?
Mm.
You see, that's why I keep saying that nothing that I'm saying is true. And yet, in the play of this world, it seems like it is helpful for all of us to hear because we are suffering from the same problem, which is to take phenomenal claims or things which are just appearances in this world and trying to attach our version of truth, our mind's version of truth onto them. You see? Who's with me?
That means we have to accept Guruji. Like I mean, really, in the uh, in the small, can you just tell in the family way once, Guruji? That's the only thing. Like I mean,
Yeah.
like when the conversation happens, like accept and then
Yeah.
or how to. I mean, not to do.
Oh,
That's the thing.
yeah. Yes.
Neutrality, it's very difficult. Like I mean, how to do? That's a thing.
So
Neutrality wise.
good. So good. So you remain neutral inwardly. You see? You remain neutral inwardly, even if this body is going full tandav.
Oh.
You see? So I'm drawing a distinction between your inner openness, you see, between your inner openness and between what seems to appear out of this mouth or these hands or feet. You see? Now, what most of us try to do is try to control what is coming out of this mouth and what happens through these hands and feet. You see? And in that trying to control, we usually end up making it worse. You see, because inwardly we add more, oh, I should not speak like this, I should only be like that, I should behave like this, I should not have done that, I should only have done like that. All these ideas then seem to keep blocking our pure beingness more and more and constricting it more, not really, but seem to constricting it so much that things only seem to get worse. You see? Now, if we let go of trying to control the words and the actions, and we just let go of what we're inwardly taking to be reality, then you will find that this additional constriction goes away, and we are not judging what the mouth is speaking or what the hands are doing. You see? Like I had no idea what is going to be spoken in this sharing today. You see? I just heard that there's a little bit of something happening somewhere, and I just show up and I'm open, no? I'm just open, and it could have been whatever the sharing happens, and whichever way it goes, it's all fine, you see, because there's no need to. I'm going to come into this conversation today and help them, you see, or tell them how to behave or not to behave, you see. And that happened, then that happened. But that is not what is happening at this moment, and I'm fine with that. You see? So, so if we can call that trust if you want to, and say that we trust whatever unfolds in whichever way it has to, but inwardly we're okay with whatever happens. You see? When we're not so attached to our notion of what is true, what is right, what is wrong, then everything is allowed to happen. You see, the minute we attach to a notion of what is true, what is right, and what is wrong, it seems like life shows us another way. You see, and life does not listen to our ideas of what is true and what is not. You see? And many times it will happen that you may feel like you're understanding what I'm saying, and maybe at some level it is being understood. You see? But truly, when you understand what I'm saying, it will be not an understanding. You see? It will no longer be an understanding. It will be like a lived openness or a lived freedom.